Okay. Welcome to the Township of Sparta Environmental Commission meeting of Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. The meeting is called to order. We are live in the council chambers at the municipal building and also streaming on youtube.com/@Sparta TWP streams. The meeting is called to order at 7:01. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 5th, 2024 by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. Can you do roll call, please, Christine?
Yes. Councilman Daniel Sherrill,
I'm going to
Sherrill,
make you say it. I'm here.
Chairwoman Kimberly Noel,
Here?
Vice Chair Neil Sarwine,
Here.
Christine Dunbar, Ted Gall, Christine Rogers,
Here.
Linda Tower,
Here.
Barbara Kozalka,
Here.
Landon Teneri,
Here.
Robert Otto, Marilyn Solis.
Here. Thank you. Please join me in saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, we have no minutes to approve, no correspondence today, no applications to review. Last time we reviewed 2 applications for the month of June, so we kind of got them done early. Public comment,
No public.
no public. Right, down to reports.
We are 60% of the way through.
I know, see, I knew this was going to be fast. Neil, do you want to go first this time, since we always go the opposite direction?
I really have no updates today.
No updates this
No.
time? Okay, no problem.
Cool.
Dan?
I can't remember if we mentioned last time about short-term rentals.
I think you did, but
Okay.
I don't
I don't think the vote happened, though.
Yes.
So the vote did happen, and we did pass a ban on short-term rentals. Any rental shorter than 28 days, so a month, is now prohibited in Sparta. The reason we looked into many ways of trying to do it through land use. So in other words, in this zone you can, in this zone you can't, or this zone has some better rule, like we do with any other land use, in different zones, different types of structures are allowed and different uses. But our attorney, the attorney's opinion was that doing it through land use was not, opened ourselves up to legal risk. Even though some municipalities do it that way, and our attorney felt that that was not the right way to do it. So we did it through enforcement, code enforcement. So it's a blanket across the whole town. I think I voted for it. I think it's good for a number of reasons. It does increase every short-term rental takes one rental off of the pool of housing that we have. And so for anybody who wants to, so if we have a housing problem in Sparta because of unaffordable housing, this just makes it worse. And there are other reasons too, but in any case, that was passed 4-1, I believe it was. We did introduce our budget. So the way that the budget cycle works is once the budget's introduced into the public, 4 weeks later, there's the hearing on the budget. So it goes into the ecosphere, and the public now has 4 weeks to mull it over, and then we vote on it. So that'll be 2 weeks from our next meeting, which is next Tuesday. And that's, I think, everything I have on my plate, right? Or anything relevant to this discussion. So, yeah.
Thank you. And our planning board liaison's not here, so I think that's it for reports.
Would it be interesting, good, whatever, use your adjective, to get an update from on the schools, like the school clubs?
Oh, yeah, that is a good
Would that be
idea.
interesting? What's going on in our schools?
Let's put it right on the spot right now.
Ms. Solis? I'm going to put you on the spot. The microphone's on and we're all watching. It's on camera.
Starting clubs in general is just like difficult because there's never a teacher that wants to spend the time to be able to actually set it up. So if anyone knows a teacher that would be willing, then that'd probably help the most.
You're talking in general.
Yeah, like you have to have a teacher in order to start a club, otherwise
Sure.
you can't really start it.
Mhm.
Like they don't let you.
What's the environmental club up to, or the club that you're involved in?
The ecology club.
Ecology club.
Well, the teacher's been out on paternity leave for about 3 months, so absolutely
lot.
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, they can't really do anything because he's also been out.
Okay. All right.
It's been a little.
It's interesting to hear. Yeah. Thank you.
I did have a comment on your ecology club. Last time we met, we talked about the possibility of like adopting a site.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do more research, but I did talk to the director of recreation about that possibility, and she seemed like open to it. There's
Okay.
definitely details to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to let you know that
I'll have to talk to Mr. Donzio about it. He'll
that's kind
definitely
of
be
the end
back
of the
like
school year.
yeah, exactly. He'll be back by the beginning of next year, so
Okay.
next year we'll probably be able to do it.
Okay, that gives us plenty of time then.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So we can put that on the agenda for next time. Yeah. And then, so if you ever have anything to report, you could, like what's happening at the school, you could report it out during this time
Yeah.
as
think
our
it's a good idea.
liaison. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll try to remember to include you, but if I do not, just, what about me? All right. Okay, unfinished business, open space planning update. A lot happened this week.
Yes, it did.
Go ahead, do you want to tell us what happened on the tour, Neil and Dan?
Since I already gave an update and you didn't.
Okay, my turn. We visited most of the parks in town, a couple of which I didn't even know we had.
Yeah, me too.
Of course, Station Park, we finished with, but we started at, well, we took a tour past the warehouse site, and rounded, took the loop around it to White Lake Field and, explored there. There was, a lot of potential there. I also saw potential for a rain garden there. We might be able to do something with a grant. Then where did we go? We went to Ungerman, and the band shell and the library and school. Then we went to Taylor or Tyler?
Tyler Park, yeah.
Tyler Park off of Stanhope Road. That's the one. I had no idea that was there.
Okay.
It's a small little park with a court that doesn't look very good. It's not in very good shape. I guess they have some plans for that potential.
Yeah, I was suggesting to Gene, street hockey. I mean, it's like they have a big flat surface that was once for tennis, and they were just going to dig it up. I'm like, that's an asset. I try to use that, but anyway,
Yeah.
that was my idea. I loved street hockey growing up. Then we went to by the Laddie Clark and Ryan Weldon.
Yeah, the wildlife management area there, which connects with everything on the Sparta Mountain and Malin Dickerson and Edison Road. And then we went to the Edison Monument.
Park,
on,
first the park.
Edison Road.
We
Sorry.
went to the park first, Edison Park.
Oh, that's right, yeah, but.
Another
we
park we
passed-
never knew.
Yeah.
there.
that
But you
one.
knew it was there.
There's a little park off of.
The Edison Park. yeah.
Off of Edison Road,
Yeah.
just above Riker Lake, that
Yeah.
I think I've been there before, but I had forgotten about it. Then we went to the monument and circled back to
The Glen.
Yonkers Landing,
Oh, yeah.
new little park that
Well,
we
first the
have-
Glen and then the Yonkers Landing.
The Glen, yeah, sorry, the Glen. And we went to Station Park.
What, Van Kirk.
Nice,
Sorry.
Van Kirk before the station.
Oh,
park,
Van
too,
Kirk,
yeah.
yes, we went to the community garden there.
right. Very
Yeah,
nice,
so we got the grand tour.
yeah.
And I think the takeaways at the end where she was asking like, of all this park area, since we had Jean there, which do you think could expand? And she was pretty clear that for like active recreation and development, that it would be really hard. But then we sort of ended up with the idea of, well, where could we expand for like a forever wild acreage? I don't think we really tackled that question, but that was sort of where we like left the conversation. And then she asked for a whole bunch of photos from us of specific places like land in the area you were talking about on the last Zoom call with like Votech and Memorial Park. And if because we didn't get over there, so she was asking for photographs of that and some other things that are on my list, but I don't know if you were very familiar, if you have them or
I can get those photos. I'll send it to everyone and then they can get sent over.
that would be
Thank you.
really helpful. And then the other thing she was asking was for a list of all the lake communities, which I'm not sure where to
That's on
go
the
by.
website, so.
Maybe
And
the
she wanted
tax
photos
office.
of Lake Mohawk too.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
You're going to do those, the Lake
Yeah,
Mohawk?
I-
Thank you,
I-
Neil.
So I live there.
Okay. Awesome. We also did meet with Landon on the trails. And the data that she was needing, the updated data from 2024, she also has received that also.
We didn't get, if we had time with that, we were talking, we were going to swing by something you suggested.
The Votech Memorial
we
Park and the trails that
yeah, we didn't
Landon
do
had
that.
presented, yeah.
I forgot about that.
All right, great. So we're moving forward. I also attended the Recreation Committee to share what's happening with the open space planning and also invite them to our June 13th meeting. And that invitation has gone out pretty much everybody, right?
I think
at
I
this
got
point?
everybody.
Yeah.
If not, let me know.
Like a lot of good progress. Any other stakeholders maybe that anybody's thinking we might have missed at this point or?
If Councilwoman Quinn goes, and that means only one of Councilwoman Quinn and Mayor Clark could go. 'Cause otherwise, we'd have a quorum if I go as well. So you'll have to figure out
Okay.
that we can only have two of us there the next, if at that meeting. And I'm happy to stay home if we need to.
Right, at the June 13th
The-
meeting?
yeah.
Yeah.
In regards to stakeholders, has there been contact made with like the Sparta Mountain Refuge or the Weldon Brook?
Who runs those areas?
I believe that's the state.
Sparta Mountain owns the state, and Weldon
Yeah.
Brook is also a state property too, yeah.
But has there any, is that an interest potentially?
I don't know. I'll certainly ask her that.
And, like Friends of Sparta Mountain.
Well, they're more of an advocacy group than they don't own the property.
No, but they're like a local
A stakeholder, I
volunteer,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
community with an interest in open space. Yeah, Kim, do you know who the invitation went out to?
A public one went out to the entire public via Facebook. And it went to every planning commission.
Planning board, zoning
Town
board,
council.
coalition,
Yep. All the green team got it.
DPW, Green Team, Parks and Rec, I believe.
Said I would post her, but I don't know what to put. Well, I mean, I'll look at the invitation. I saw that I got it, but I haven't like
Okay.
looked
I
at it.
thought about what? I'm sorry.
I said I would put up posters around town.
Oh,
or, like,
okay.
print some and put them up
Okay.
just around town, but I haven't looked at the invitation.
Okay.
closely.
Great, too.
You mentioned Friends of Sparta Mountain, also the Highlands Coalition or another
Yeah,
advocacy
were on
group
it.
that might be.
Yeah, I think they
They were
got
definitely
invited
on it.
also.
The
Oh, they
Highlands
did?
Coalition and the Highlands Council were both on it.
Oh, good.
All right, great. Anything else on the open space and rec plan? Questions, comments? Okay. This is our last meeting before Sparta Day.
Ooh, that's right.
I have no additional updates. I will send around. Who said that they could work?
I can come in the morning.
Okay.
I can
Like,
also
set
come in
up,
the morning.
Awesome.
set up to like 12-ish.
I'll probably leave it around 12
Awesome.
too.
I'm also good for any time you need me.
In front
Okay.
of Barbara are the printouts with the double-sided.
Actually, they're
for you.
right
Thank
here.
you so much. I really
And
And
appreciate
there's a whole
also a
box of
box
them
of
here
stuff.
too,
Okay.
other handouts.
Oh,
I need
there
to
you go.
talk to Michelle
you.
about the banner, see where our banner is.
Okay, so I'll reach out with like a schedule this week to see what we can fill in, and I'd really appreciate. And I have a date to go pick up the exhibits, and I have the tables and the tent and chairs. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
The only thing that we don't have, I think, is the banner. There's
Yeah, I'll look
a,
into that tomorrow with
yeah.
Michelle.
Okay, thank you.
And the, from the Junior Women's Club, on top of that is their email, just telling you what, you know, when you pull in, where to go and what to do
Okay.
to get us, they'll tell you where to park for your space.
So we're going to solicit green team members at the, do we have, I thought we talked about this before, like,
We
is there
should-
somebody that owns the green teams, like the captain of the green team that could set these people to work? Or-
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up in new business.
Okay,
too.
sorry.
But we should also have the invitation to the open space meeting there.
yeah, we should,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And then last time we did Sparta Day, we had like a sign-up sheet for additional folks who wanted to join the green team. Yeah, I mean, literally, it just said name, email.
Once we get green team going, we can even add, make those to a regular report, like
About how many
what's the green
copies
team
do
up
you
to
think you need
today?
for
Yep.
Green team, for that invitation.
For the invitation, like 30?
How many members are there of the green team? Does anybody know?
Last time we collected signatures at Sparta Day, I think we got like 30 to 40 people signed up for the green
Okay.
team. And then periodically, some people will like come to a meeting or be interested in being added. So it's probably around 40 people now.
Yeah,
would
if
be
high
my
schoolers
guess.
could join, if you say
Yeah.
anything about volunteer hours, then they'll sign up like immediately.
Oh, yeah,
Because everybody always needs volunteer hours.
yeah.
So, like on the advertisement, like if we could say something about volunteer hours, that'd probably be good.
You mean for Sparta Day or for coming to the,
Just
But-
for like joining the green team in general, like
Oh.
at Sparta Day too.
yeah,
If any high schooler walks by and sees like, oh, free science
Because it's
volunteer
free,
hours,
put things on
then,
your resume or
like
your
they're gonna want
app,
them.
college app. Which means we'll need a
Mhm.
structure for what the green team does and, you know, reports, here's what they've been done this last year and stuff, yeah.
So, should I talk about my idea for the green team or wait?
can you wait? Is it related to Sparta Day or no?
Nope.
Okay, can we, yeah, can we just stick to the, okay. Municipal tree ordinance, Barbara did a great job and a bunch of research. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So I know, do you want to go over it or share with us what you found?
I mean, like, the first thing is, like, I think this is a draft. This is
Yep.
based on the model that was provided by the DEP. And I incorporated the current tree ordinance that Sparta has. My comments to this are we have to look into the exemptions that we had previously because they are not in, they don't comply with the requirements of the DEP right now. So we have to look at that, and I try not to add them, but I think everyone should go through this to make sure that we are not adding anything that we shouldn't be adding.
Okay.
We have to, on the last page, there's Appendix A, and I have comments here. We have to provide the list of approved trees, species, and all of that. So that will be very helpful for even the site plans, design, and things like this in the, you know, in the long run, because we could incorporate that into the requirements. But I think someone who was here for the previous tree ordinance could possibly look at it first, because I don't know what was incorporated before. In a way, like, I don't know how the commission worked through this to create the ordinance. So I think it should be reviewed by someone who was here during the creation of the ordinance, and then we can all have comments to this.
Were you here last time the tree ordinance was reviewed?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't believe so.
I don't
no one
think,
was here.
I don't know if anybody was here.
Okay.
Other than Ted.
When was it,
Ted
when
was
was
here.
it passed?
Ted was. I don't know. I don't know when the last one was.
So I guess we can all put our comments, incorporate them, and then send back to the state for their revision again.
Okay.
To
The
see
state
if
would
this
review it?
is to the DP, yeah. Because you can, the townships that have the current ordinance, they can send
I,
their ordinance to the DEP to ask if this is in compliance with the requirements of the permit. So
I would recommend having our attorney first look at this thing before it goes to the state, because if he looks at it later and decides we have to make some changes
Oh,
to
but
it,
yeah,
then
yeah.
you have another cycle. Yeah. So I would gather comments from us, and then when we're comfortable with it, then
Yeah.
bring it to Jim and our attorney,
yeah,
and
Okay.
then ask for the next step.
and I have like sections like definitions here, and I know that we have the definitions in the section 18/2. We have, so I don't know if we would be adding that into the actual definitions that
Yeah.
Para has, or we can just include the one that are not already in the ordinances.
That-
You
That's a
know,
lawyer
things like-
question, yeah.
Yes, things like this, because I only added like a few definitions here. The one that we already have like were deleted from here, so, yeah. So we can all look through this, lawyers
Okay.
can look through this, and then that can be,
And then it goes to Jim and the attorney, and then it can go
The state.
back to. the
yeah,
state.
and then
Okay.
they can look into it
And
again,
then
yeah.
at that point, then it goes to the council for adoption, yes or no.
Mhm.
Okay. Good.
Great. Excellent, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
All right. June is fast approaching, as we just mentioned. So it's time for our annual report. Every year, at the end of it doesn't run on a calendar year, it runs on I don't know why June is the day,
Fiscal.
but I
Fiscal
guess
year,
it's a
yeah.
fiscal year, yeah. That's when we send our formal report, our annual formal report up to the town council. So a draft is here. Please take a look. Spelling, I'm happy for any and all comments. Spelling, like this doesn't read right, you forgot this event, any of those type of things. I've tried to be filling it out as we went along the full year, because otherwise it's very hard to compose everything all at once. So hopefully I captured anything, but please take a look, and then I don't think it's due like June 1st. I think it's more like June 30th, Dan, right?
Je ne sais pas.
Okay. So try to get comments to me by next week, if you could, and then we'll submit it
good.
as soon as possible.
You want my couple of comments right now or
Sure,
later?
go ahead. You see something already? Great.
On this, under additional activities,
Mhm.
it should be, for the Clean Communities bullet point, it should be October of 2023.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
And then third bullet point from the bottom on the same page. It should say with our AmeriCorps watershed ambassador. So add in the word watershed, and then AmeriCorps is actually spelled AmeriCorps.
Or PS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I thought the one other thing I was going to suggest is maybe in the Arbor Day bullet point, we can just reiterate that it was an ANJAC funded grant of how those trees were paid for.
Cool. We should post these on our website, under the Environmental Commission website page every year.
Okay.
Because otherwise, it's for posterity, like, what does this commission do? And you'll
Yeah.
see exactly what they do every year.
Anybody see anything now? You want to share?
Last name is spelled wrong.
What did I spell wrong?
My last name doesn't have an S at the end.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Sustainability Summit I went to, should that be?
Yes, I forgot about that one. See, I did forget one.
Oh, and there was another one we went to, I think Dean went to. The Rivers Conference at,
Oh, that's right. Um,
yeah, Dean and I both went to that.
Do you remember what month?
No, I'll have to,
Okay.
I'll find out.
Okay. And you went to the Sustainability Summit in May, right?
Yes.
All right. And then I'll start next year's and add Sparta Day to it.
Already have something.
I know. All right. Dan, you wanted to talk about EV vehicle grant and then Linda, Green Team.
Yeah, so pursuant to our last meeting, because there was some interest in seeing if we can electrify some of our vehicles, I did raise that with the town manager. And the town manager had concerns, and those are captured in the email. And things like, okay, once we get in a big vehicle, like, one of the things that the town prides itself, we have a fantastic DEP. And we maintain our own vehicles. So we don't have to send the vehicle to a shop when you need brakes or whatever. And so one of his concerns was, how do I maintain an EV? And really what the issue is, you don't. I mean, there's brakes and there's windshield washer fluid and you got to rotate the tires, but there's no motor oil. There's no, what am I trying to say? Anyway, it's not an ICE engine that requires a lot more maintenance. I mean, and we're never going to maintain the battery. That's just not a thing. There'll be software updates like any other car, but in any case, he'll want some kind of a summary of, here's what maintaining a green vehicle takes. And I think he also, there'll also be some infrastructure for the charging station. I know we have one out here, and maybe that would be sufficient for probably $1,000 installed. We can probably put our own around the back. That would just be our own vehicles. But I would probably include that as one of the things you need to do to start having an electric fleet. And the other thing is there's probably some. If we were to get an EV, as he mentions here, that the Chevy Bolt, I don't understand that the Chevy Bolt is not $65,000. I bought one for 35 or 30, and they're still selling for that. So, but you would probably look for an equivalent electric vehicle to one we have now that we would replace. And if there is a difference in cost, I bet you there would be some grant that wouldn't cover the cost of the electric vehicle, the total cost, but maybe covers the difference, and maybe some of the infrastructure set up, like having a charging station, so that if the cost is equivalent between, if all things being equal, if you're just making a choice, you would choose an EV. So it's saying the same thing differently. If it's an extra 25 grand to purchase an EV with all the accoutrements that you need with it, then if we can get a grant for 25, then that would allay some of his concerns. So anyway, I think the point is it's probably worth a little bit of digging into if anybody wants to do the digging.
On that, I sent the slide decks from the Sustainability Summit.
Saw that,
and,
thank you.
if you follow some of the links there, you'll get to I think it's DOT. They have funding for fast chargers, and then the Infrastructure Act also provides rebates like $4,000 for electric vehicles.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot of potential for.
If you put that on on one page, if you give him a bunch of stuff to read and say, here, read it and figure it
Right.
out, you won't read it.
Right. I'll try to consolidate everything. Find.
I'm not trying to create work for you.
No, that's all right. I'm glad.
So Neil, you're
glad to
willing
do
to
it.
take a stab at least starting some of the stuff that you learned from the sustainability
Yes.
thing? Awesome, thank you.
Thank
Does
you.
the state have any sort of like fleet show for municipalities where they, showcase this kind of stuff?
I don't know in that regard. The state, there is a State League of Municipalities conference every year in November in Atlantic City, and I go to that every year. It's a huge conference. It's 25,000 or so participants. And there's the convention center is huge, and they do showcase electric vehicles there. I don't know if it's the same thing you're asking, but it's
Yeah.
similar.
Because I'm in New York City, they do that exact thing, and they have the big fleet show, and they have like all the vendors there, and they have the different kinds of chargers, and they
Yeah,
have
that's all there, yeah.
the grant pieces, and everybody, and you're picking up your hedge trimmers and your EVs, and I don't know, it's just like if you got to a point and wanted to bring the town manager there to see what might
He was
be-
there. He goes to the. So I think the bottom line is he's nervous because you don't know what he's getting into, and he just needs some holding hands and a hug, and I think we'll be fine. I think. So I think the next step after we get this is to sit down with him and here's what you need to consider. And he says, okay, I'll add that to my plate. But we'll take a step. We keep making first downs. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially because you leave a car in the EV in the charger overnight, and you've got a full battery.
Yeah.
And we're not going to eat up 250 miles driving around town for a day. I think it'll make sense to start swapping these out. And one thing I can say is I have 3 electric vehicles, and we've driven electric vehicles for at least 10 years or 15, and I'm really obsessive with keeping track of my finances on Quicken. So like I buy a stick of gum and it's on Quicken. I'm weird, but we'll get past that. So anyway, I look back at my electric bill over 15-year period because I have data going back that far. And you would think that when we start not using gas and using electricity, that my electricity bill would go up because I'm not, and it's actually going down. It's flat, if not going down. And I can't explain it because I know I'm driving because I feel myself driving, and I don't see us using any more electric. Now I know we have more electric, environmentally conscious lighting, and but it's like I'm driving for free. So my point is, I think this is a win
Wow.
for the town.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I don't buy gas, and that doesn't cost me any electricity. I don't know why. It's dark magic.
Well, and I think the other thing is we're not saying go buy a bunch of new cars all at once, right?
Buy two
We'd
or one,
pilot
yeah.
with 1 or 2, right? And
For
see
next
how
time
it
you would have
goes.
to replace one.
Yeah,
And we replace
Exactly.
cars every year. We're always buying cars.
Also at the summit, I saw there were different displays outside with lawn equipment.
Yeah, it's interesting too.
Some, in like heavy duty stuff, not homeowner things.
Yeah, I did see that at this show, actually.
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Yeah, I think they are, but I got an email from somebody today showing some of the costs of savings that they can pay for themselves in like 2 or 3 years, something like that.
I mean, the other thing we could do is gather a proposal, like say you were going to incrementally replace the lawnmowers that we use. Company, give us your proposal and why we should do this.
Yeah.
Like make them do the work.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
That was
Next time,
kind of the gist
when I'm
of
there
this
in
email
November,
I
I'll
got.
try to do that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Neil, for getting us start there. Starting's always the hardest part. All right, Linda?
So I spoke a little bit to Jean about organizing volunteer events on a regular basis. And if she's basically said I had to talk to Dan. Is that right?
This Dan?
No. The,
Don't talk to me.
is there a Department of Recreation supervisor, I would imagine?
What's Jean, right? But
No,
not Jean?
not the director, who works just under her that does like more of the day-to-day stuff. And maintenance,
Bill? I thought his name was Bill.
name is Bill, okay.
He was the one who helped at the Arbor Day event, was Bill.
Oh, okay. That
I thought she said something, so I'm sorry. Anyway, if I could set it up that I know exactly how he wants it, and if it seems like it's gonna be, I feel like it could be very easy for them, and we can make it very easy for them, and if they agree to it, then I would be okay with trying to communicate with the green team and seeing if I could get someone to lead volunteer events. And dovetails with this. Like there are a few knotweed sites that I've found that I think would be really great where if they could be hit like once a week with a little volunteer team, we could make some progress and have something for them to do. But only if I can get it set up with recreation.
Okay, so the next step is to talk to Bill? Okay,
So sending people out to work on a road makes people nervous?
No,
So you need
I
to-
thought no roads.
Okay, good. Just to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And she was very much like, but our parks are clean. We don't need volunteers. So but that's even better for us. Like it can be invasive removal and it would just be a matter of like leaving the debris exactly how he wants to see it.
Yeah.
And, maybe Tuesdays are better or Sundays are better than, Saturdays because they don't work on the weekends. So we'll see if it gets somewhere.
okay.
I would suggest too, taking a look at the inventory or the schedule of points for Sustainable Jersey. Maybe there's something on there that requires manpower, person power, and that might be a candidate for a green team application. I mean, there's a lot of things on that list, and maybe something that 20 people can knock off in an afternoon or something. I don't know.
Well, there are a lot of things like that.
Yeah. If we can get that team to start earning us points, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Not necessarily volunteering to lead the whole team. Like this one thing, this piece seems really easy to me and I'll try to
Sure.
push forward that.
I wasn't suggesting that.
And then like baby steps. But I'll look at it and see what's there, see if there's anything else really easy, see me.
Do you want me to set up that meeting with Bill or you want to?
Sure, I don't know him at all.
Okay.
So, thank you.
All right, anything else for the good of the township or the environment? Yes, Dan?
This actually came up during our trip. We were talking about the station park lighting. And I know when I was coaching soccer there, those lights were very, very expensive to run at a cost of like $500 an hour type of expensive to run. And you think of how many hours those lights are on. There's a ton of electricity goes pouring through there. So I just naturally assumed that because I've been coaching soccer in a long time that now that's all different and it's all LED. And the answer is no. They're all lights and they are super expensive to run and they eat up a ton of electricity. And but I was told that just to swap them out to LED and the LED technology right now is fantastic for getting better all the time for the outdoor lighting. Would cost about $1 million to swap it all out. But the next step would be, okay, so how many years would it take to pay for that? Is the payoff period 2 years, 4 years, whatever? And then the next logical thing is, I bet you there's grant money available to cut down your electrical costs by getting more energy efficient lighting. There's gotta be. So anyway, I floated that by the assistant manager, by Michelle today, and I will send her an email back up and I'll copy you. And I think that might be an activity that our grant writer could look for. But maybe there's a little bit of legwork to do to figure out like what's the payback period for an investment like this, and how have other towns that done it, and what have they seen? Anyway, just thought I'd mention I was going to try to get the ball rolling on that because I think that might be a pretty easy win.
Well, and is any new lighting, we should definitely not be putting in the old lighting, right?
I think it's more complicated than that. I think you need the
Okay.
infrastructure set up for that. It's not like I could just replace the bulb.
Right,
I think they're more complicated than that.
okay, gotcha.
Because I know like right now they've got all this, like they can remotely control things and monitor energy use by field, by light bulb, and they got some
And-
really cool toys.
And does the township roll that money into the cost of using the fields that we charge people?
I don't think we recoup 100% of our costs, but it is a cost that the town bears. And again, I doubt that we recoup it from I mean, like at the time, this is 15 years ago, it was somebody, the number sticks in my head, it was like $500 an hour. I doubt that we're charging the clubs that kind of money, but maybe, but anyways, I think the answer is no, but I think that's
Right.
just something the town does. So this would be a savings
Yeah.
once we hit our payback.
Yeah, if you're gonna do the math, you'd have to know what we are charging and then.
Yep.
Okay,
Anyway, that's nothing else.
anything else? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Nobody wants to leave.
Brendan? Any seconded?
Second.
Linda second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.